There's a lot of hurt, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of sadness. You waste your life, you waste your time, you go back to square one again. So my understanding of grooming is when somebody's building a relationship using money, through culture, through faith, with the aim to exploit and take advantage of a young person.
Some of these young kids don't understand when it comes to grooming, it comes in all different shapes or forms. When people are obviously given things without them understanding what the value is or what it means for them, you have a kid who be given vape, somebody will be giving them vape all the time. They don't have the money, they don't have the capacity to buy it, but somebody's actually giving it to them with the understanding that they're going to do them a favor one day.
And so you're always going to have the elders, you're going to have the youngers. The elders is often an older person who has a level of influence within the community.
They might have a nice car, they might be the biggest drug seller, they might have the nice clothes, they have all the girls. They are an iconic figure within the community.
And the youngsters are the people who are more or less always pursuing and trying to access the same lifestyle that the elders have, which often leads them into the position of being victims of grooming.
So what tends to happen is, say for instance, I'm a hierarchy figure within a community. I need things done, but I don't want to get my hands dirty. So what will happen is I'll hire a general, and the general will hire soldiers, and the soldiers will be the ones who be groomed. So it's actually grooming all the way down, because the general has been groomed as well. He has an understanding that he's doing something in order to get money or to receive something. So he then hires in other kids who are called runners.
Once a young person is now in the environment where they're now being exploited,
they go and do the deliveries, they go and do all the other things that the general doesn't want to do.
Hey Brad, can you do me a solid?
Yeah.
I need someone to look after this for me, just for a bit, but I need someone I can trust, yeah?
Yeah, no, that's cool, man.
Can you do that?
Yeah, definitely.
Safe, bro.
Sweet.
Oi, after this, I owe you big time, yeah?
Yeah. Sweet, man.
Safe.
Cheers. They often get taken to countries anywhere outside of London, with the purpose of leaving them there for a period of time. They get given X amount of drugs to sell on a day. It's expected of him to sell everything he gets given. Often they land somewhere, or they get somewhere where the house is already set up. Often the house that is being used is a house of somebody who takes drugs, so often those people get paid with drugs, not money. But the trap really comes in when the young person realizes that it's not just a week thing, it's not just a 2 weeks thing. Suddenly now he realizes that he's now 3 months later, he's now trapped into this circle of he can't get out. The reason why he can't get out is many. Some people tend to use a trick on them, which is they give them X amount of drugs, and then they'll get another young person or another group of young people to then rob them. And then what happens is now the person is in debt. So something that began with, an agreement of a couple of £100 after a week, it's now turned up to be a £6,000 debt, which means that a young person now sadly has to stay behind for a very long time.
Majority of the time, people don't know they've been groomed. They don't have no idea they've been groomed because they're getting rewards. People tend to have a blank eye when they have rewards.
The background of these young people is often a disadvantaged one, somewhere where they have no identity.
From deprived homes.
Lack of mentors.
Homes that have no money.
Quickly judged, disregarded.
So you tend to see that within some of these young kids.
So in my experience, and again, this is all based on real lives, some young people don't have anything to eat at home. And I mean nothing. So when that young person sees that his friend is the same age, goes to the same school, but is making £300-400, he wants to be part of that. Poverty is something that pushes not just young people, but everybody into doing some crazy things. So this is some of the experiences that I've witnessed with young people. I believe they've never really experienced the aspect of love and care for. So
They're out there, they're oozing for love, they're oozing for attention, they're oozing for belonging, they're oozing for somewhere that they can call home.
often the only people they can go to get some form of approval, some form of, in their mind, love, that young person will easily be a victim of that groomer.
In everything, what we tend to find is that most of these young people, a lot of the time, growing up and being told you're not going to be no good, the words of the tongue is very powerful. They don't have love for themselves. So if you have that love for yourself, there's certain things that you wouldn't do. You put yourself first. So most of these kids don't have that love. They don't have that self-belief. They don't have that confidence. They lack a lot of these things.
It's everything now, isn't it? I think everybody uses social media for everything. And the sad picture that young people has of social media is that what they see is what they want.
They see somebody wearing a nice, bright, big chain, trainers, driving a big car, counting loads of money. They can hit them up on a private DM and say, look, how do I get a bring-in? They would then, in majority of the time, they would then bring them in. And again, when they bring them in, it's actually grooming, because they're going to bring them in to do something that they don't want to do. Straight away, they've been groomed, because they've been groomed by what they see on social media.
At some point, that person had to pay a price. Nobody goes untouched. There's always either you get a sentence, you get shot, you get stabbed, you get robbed. There's pressure on your family. So social media has almost desensitized what it takes to get to that point. Social media has become poison to young people in many different ways. Say the client group that I'm describing is toxic. It's unrealistic, it's fake, it just doesn't exist.
Nothing's for free in the road game. If you have that in mind, you understand that as soon as somebody's offering something on road, then giving you things, he's going to want something sooner or later. Might not be now, might be a year, might be 2 years, but they're going to want something. Nothing comes for free. And as soon as you see that somebody's offering you a lot of things, you need to be careful. There's always an end goal for somebody offering something on the road. And their goal is not for you. Their goal is for themselves. They put themselves first, never you.
So I think the community can get involved in many different ways. It's almost like a young person hasn't got no connection with the community whatsoever, because the community has detached themselves from that young person. Try to learn what these young people are going through. Learn how to approach a young person. Find out what the local charities are doing to resolve some of the issues. Tag along, volunteer. Everybody wants to highlight the problem, but when the solution is there, nobody wants to be involved. Find out what the community is doing, to resolve the issue. Drop the prejudgment, the stereotype. But everybody has gone through bad experiences, not just one person. But I suppose if we all keep pushing these young people away, the only thing that we're doing is making the problem even bigger. What would I say to a young person to deter them? There's a lot more in you.
You need to have that self-love.
There's a lot more in you that you haven't got a clue how much potential if you can allow people to work alongside with you.
You need to gain that love for yourself. With love comes everything.
No man is an island, and guess what? Every single man that you know that is successful, stable, emotionally, financially, that man has received an element of mentoring.
Find that love within yourself. That love will push you to be able to come out of what you need to come out of.